Hey strangers, welcome back. This time we're taking you on a fun and flavorful girls trip to Vancouver. We were there for about 6 days and this video covers the first half. We did some sightseeing and a lot of eating. So if you like food content, buckle up because there's going to be a lot to see. Trust me, after this video you're going to be booking your trip to Vancouver. Alright, let's go. So this is our first visit to Vancouver, and of course our trip started with a hiccup. The car rental had a really flat tire, but that's a story for another time. Once that got sorted out, we went straight to the Airbnb. And if you know me, I'm always the detective. So I did my usual sweep for any suspicious things, and also check the beds for any bed bugs. You never know. Okay, finally, with our stomachs growling, we went down the street to Asian Heritage Eatery. After surviving airport snacks, we were ready for some real food. We started our meal with the xiaolong baos or soup dumplings, and it came with these two sauces. I'm not sure if my memory is clouded by hunger, but it was good. Is it the best soup dumplings in the world? Probably not, but it did taste like a soup dumpling, and it did have soup and in a shape of dumplings, so at least it has that going for it, right? Moving on, we got their specialty, the trio: roasted duck, pork, and chicken. We also got the scallion ginger rice, which was so good, but it was like $3 extra just for the scallion ginger on top of the rice. I mean, look at that. It was so good on its own. Anyways, back to the meats. The pork was divine, flavorful, moist, perfect with the rice. It was sweet and tender. It was perfect. Okay, the chicken was good, although it kind of felt like rotisserie chicken for me because the skin was not crispy, even though it's a roasted chicken. It was good, but I kind of felt cheated. Okay, the best for last. The roasted duck was moist and the skin was still a little crispy, even though they stacked it on top of each other. I mean, I love duck, so that was the highlight of the dinner. After dinner, we took a little walk to grab some water and snacks for our stay. We found this little supermarket called Urban Fare. It was very expensive and the hot food options were very limited. I get it, business hours were almost over, so we just stocked up on a couple of things, and when we went to pay, we realized we kind of messed up because we didn't bring any extra bags to carry the things that we just bought, so we had to pay for a bag. Or did we? I think we didn't even pay for a bag, we just carried it home. Okay, on day 2 we learned our lesson and we didn't buy anything, but we did go to 3 different cafes. First we went to Starbucks Reserve because I wanted to see what the hype is about, and I would definitely recommend you to skip it because it did not live up to the hype at all. Next we went to Brecca, which I'm probably pronouncing it all wrong, but it was poppin'. There were a lot of people, like the line was out the door. And I totally understand why the line was out the door. You don't have to pay extra for soy milk or almond milk. And look at these pastries, all sorts of pastries, flavors. I mean, why wouldn't the line be out the door? So after Brecca, we took a little walk to Gastown because we wanted to go to another cafe. To be perfectly honest, I only went here for the aesthetic, but the food and the drinks were really good. The only downside is that you cannot bring out a laptop or anything with a keyboard, which was kind of weird, but whatever. The food made up for it. Talking about food, we got a latte and this matcha lemonade. This matcha lemonade is a must try. Like, you have to try it because it's so good. I'm still thinking about it to this day. The manager also recommended this pistachio croissant. Superb. They toasted it. So the croissant itself was actually really crispy and the pistachio paste was actually really good. And the nice little feature is that everything you see is like branded. I mean, it's on the plates and on the bags. It's so cute. They sure know how to impress the Instagram girlies. We got really lucky because as we were leaving, the steam clock was going off, although the time on the clock was not correct. Okay, so after filling up on coffee, we actually went to the public library for the rooftop. And this is where we hung out for 4 to 5 hours probably. The rooftop was free for the public and it was a perfect day. Sunny, a little bit of breeze. The garden was beautiful. Like, I was just amazed by these beautiful flowers. After the public library, we spent $60 to park near the harbor. We were kind of thinking there'd be a lot of stuff to do at the harbor, but really there weren't much at all. So after looking around the harbor and visiting Canada Place, we kind of decided that we wanted to just go find dinner. But we couldn't figure out what we wanted, so we went to Chop's Steakhouse instead to get some appetizers. Because we were hungry and we felt like we were just wasted $60 on parking. But that was probably the best move we did because our waiter was amazing. He was pretty much our verbal tour guide who told us all of the amazing things that local lights do in Vancouver. And then he also recommended that we take the ferry up to North Vancouver. And that's what we did. And from my adventures, the waiters, they just know where the fun is. So definitely ask your waiter if they're friendly and if they pass the vibe check for recommendations, because you might miss out on a view like that. So this is right outside of the ferry station. There's a handful of food vendors and a pier that you can go and hang out. Or if you want a really nice picture of the Vancouver skyline. So we did do that, take some pictures, and then we went into the mall to do some window shopping. While it is a tourist trap, it has a lot of commuter vibes too, because it has a little flower shop and a spot to buy groceries. On the way back, I had to walk past this Jabba cart because we finally decided what we want to eat. For dinner, we went to Kosu for some Korean fried chicken. So the first dish that came out was the seafood and pork stir fry. To be honest, it was a little on the sweet side, but it was spicy, so great with rice. And the side dishes were amazing. By the way, the service here was top notch. At some point of the dinner, my chopstick fell, and before I could even react, a staff member swooped in with a new pair and took my old chopsticks on the ground away. Like, talk about service. The fried chicken here was crunchy, a bit sweet, and sprinkled with a lot of cheese powder. They served the whole chicken, neck, thighs, breasts, wings, all of it. By the way, this place was super busy. I get it because the food was good. Anyways, we were so full, there was no room for boba. For day 3, we grabbed coffee at 49th Parallel. It was such a cute spot with a really great vibe. It definitely had big city workday vibes. But I mean, look at the colors. It's also Instagram worthy. By the way, the coffee was actually really good, so you'll see we came here again. We also got this crispy cruller donut thing. It was like a churro, crispy on the outside, moist on the inside, although a little heavy on the sugar glaze. After coffee, we headed down south to Richmond, and we did zero damage window shopping at Aberdeen Center. And we spent like 90% of our time at this little shop. I can't even pronounce the name, but it's like a Daiso. It has almost everything you would need in a house. So we went to Empire Seafood as recommended by our friend Outdoor Mini Cooking, who is on Instagram and TikTok. Okay, back to the food. I gotta say, it was the best dim sum I've had in over a decade. And I'm sorry, I've had dim sum in Boston, Chicago, and New York. Okay, I mean, I haven't had it recently, but yeah. Pro tip, if you're going on a weekend, definitely reserve your table ahead of time on their website. We went on a weekday and it was packed. Also note that you're using a menu to order at this place unless it's different on a weekday, but I didn't see any carts rolling around. So if you do end up going here, don't expect to see the carts, but do expect some really good food. For example, giant dumpling and soup, delicious. Bee bread in a steam roll, can't complain. And if you're a foodie and you don't like dim sum, I would have to say you're not a foodie. Everything was delicious, no notes. Even our durian hater, someone who doesn't even like the smell of durian, loved, loved, loved these fried durian mochi balls. We still talk about it to this day. So after the feast, we went on a journey to go find a case of water. We landed at this H Mart in Lansdowne Center, and unfortunately, they didn't have a case of water that we wanted, or they didn't have a case of water at all. But at least we got to see some of the prices and some of the cool ingredients, as well as some toys that we were trying not to purchase. We also went around the mall and did some window shopping, and then we ended up at TNT Supermarket, where we did find water and the mango dessert section, which was very dangerous. So we did grab water and a couple of mango desserts for the Airbnb, but luckily we were full, so we were not tempted by the hot food section here. Next thing we did was went to Granville Island. It was definitely a touristy attraction, which I mean, we were tourists, so we had to do it. They had a little market which was really busy, like rubbing shoulders busy. But it was really fun to see all the different types of food that they offered. Some even offered samples. But really, we came here for one thing only: a lobster roll. This is the Connecticut lobster roll made from Atlantic lobster with warm butter, lemon juice, and brioche bun. It was alright. Having grown up in the Boston area, it felt weird to eat Atlantic seafood in the Pacific Ocean area. But we did grab some boba and hung out at this little pond area for a bit just to chillax before we went back to Vancouver for dinner. We went to Miss A Korean barbecue spot. We were pretty exhausted from decision making, so we just picked one of the combos that they had and also ordered a cold noodle on the side, which this was the first time eating cold noodles and I was instantly obsessed. The mustard and vinegar combo surprisingly was really good. No notes. I would have to say the rest of the food was just mid at best, and the service was really bad. I mean, I've had Miss A in New York City before, and the service there was also bad, so I'm not sure if the attitude part is part of the experience, but yeah, I don't think I'll ever be going to a Miss A ever again. No matter, we ate, we paid, we smelled like a grill. So we decided to end our day 3 with a sunset at Sunset Beach, which as you can see is pretty busy, but parking was only like $5, so it wasn't too bad. So that was part 1 of our Vancouver trip. Part 2 is coming out soon, so like and subscribe and hit that bell icon if you want to see part 2. That's it for now. Thank you so much for watching.